one of the major Puranas. There is Brahma Purana, there is Brahmanda Purana, and there is a Brahma Vaivarta Purana among 18 Puranas. Brahma Purana. Om Yasmat Sarvamidam Prapancharagitam Prapancharachitam Maya Jagajjayate Yasmin Stishtati Yati Chantasamaye Kalpanakalpe Punaha Yam Jatva Manaya Prapancharagitam Vindanti Moksham Dhruvam Tam Mande Purushottamakhya Nityam Vibhum Nishchalam. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Adorations unto the Supreme Being, pure, eternal, and all-pervading, the changeless reality, the one being, meditating upon whom sages attain liberation, eternal and undifferentiated, the one out of whom the visible world, the scene of diversity, comes into existence, in whom it rests, and to whom it returns in the end, when the world cycle comes to a close. Om peace, may there be peace and joy in our hearts. May there be peace and harmony amongst all beings. May there be peace everywhere in nature. Excuse me. Adhyatmika Shanti, Adi Bhautika Shanti, and Adi Daivika Shanti. We were doing, I think, sloka number 16 we have to do. 3 kinds of tapas. Shariram tapaha in sloka number 14, bodily austerities. And the second one, Vagmayam tapaha. Vag means speech austerities. And 16 sloka, Manasam tapaha, mind. These are the 3 very precious, only 3 instruments we have through which our whole life proceeds. So these 3 instruments, 3 karana, they have to be kept in good condition and must be used in the proper way only for the purpose for which they were given to us. Last time someone asked a question at the end, if there is jnana, why there is fear and confusion? That was the question. Jnana means, as we know, there are 2 different branches of knowledge. They are called Aparavidya and Paravidya. These are described in the Upanishad, Mundak Upanishad. Aparavidya means knowledge of the world. Everything that we study in the schools, universities, educational institutions, all the sciences and technologies, all the social sciences, medical science, psychology, and all the humanities, literature, poetry, everything, whatever we can think of. All of those different branches of knowledge, they all come under the umbrella of Aparavidya. That means worldly knowledge of the world, different aspects of the world. Now, as opposed to this, there is another branch of knowledge called Paravidya. Para means supreme. Paravidya is defined in this way in the Upanishad. Para yaya tadaksharam adigamyate. Paravidya is that by which the supreme reality of Brahman is known. Aksharam Brahma Paramam, from Gita, chapter 8. So that knowledge which gives us knowledge of Brahman or knowledge of God or knowledge of the self, that is Paravidya. If Paravidya is there, then there is no room for confusion or fear or anything. It means so total peace and joy, no disturbance in the mind. It is also transcending the mind, abiding in the self within. Aparavidya brings us down to the level of the world. When we study any branch of knowledge, we are studying some aspect of the world. Astronomy, we study the celestial objects, mathematics, grammar, logic, engineering, technology, all study of different aspects of the world. And the objects themselves are changing. Our knowledge of the objects is changing. And this knowledge is very useful in our lives, but to a limited extent. It's limited to this life only. Aparavidya knowledge. If a person has Aparavidya, still that person is subject to confusion and fear, because Aparavidya has no power to remove fear and confusion. The only way to become permanently free from fear and confusion is to acquire Paravidya, knowledge of the self, knowledge of God, or pure devotion, self-knowledge. Once you are established in that one, there is no more possibility of any kind of problem or fear. Nothing is going to affect us. You are always abiding in the supreme reality. The state cannot be explained in words. It has to be known only from experience. You have to do a lot of sadhana to reach that stage. And then once that is reached, then that is the achievement of the goal of human life. Then only you are free from all problems, fear, doubts, all karma will be, you are freed from all karma, nothing binds us. So that is the kind of knowledge we have to acquire. This is also important, Aparavidya. For a person to lead a good, decent life in this world, one has to be educated. There are very few people who didn't have any Aparavidya, but they also became great saints, great Mahatmas. You can think of Latu Maharaj. He didn't have any education. He was illiterate all his life, but he became a great jnani and a great bhakta. But how many examples are there like that? He had the blessings of Sri Ramakrishna. So that is not something that happens ordinarily for most people. So that is the answer to that question. Paravidya grants total permanent freedom from fear, confusion, all problems. Aparavidya may or may not. So that is the clarification. Now we go to sloka number 16. Here, Bhagavan Sri Krishna gives 5 more instructions on how to keep the mind in good condition. So let us study 16. Manah prasada saumyatvam maunamatma vinigraha bhava samshuddhirityetat tapo manasamuchyate. Manah prasadaha saumyatvam 2, maunam 3, atma vinigraha 4, and bhava samshuddhi 5. 5 disciplines for mind. Earlier we saw 5 for body, 5 for speech. 3 kinds of tapas. So let us study what is manah prasadaha. Manah prasadaha here means, Shankara says, manasaha prashantihi. Prashanti means supreme peace. Shanti means peace. Prashanti means supreme peace that nothing can disturb. That is the goal. So you have to practice how to remain peaceful in spite of disturbing circumstances. That is our question, our challenge. In daily life, there is always something going to happen to create disturbance in our mind. I like to be peaceful, but some problem comes. Somebody says something or does something, or I myself get into some trouble or some health problem, something will come and I don't have peace. That's the nature of daily life for most people. Small differences are there. So how to remain calm under all circumstances, no matter what happens in life? That is the question. So many instructions and hints have been given so far in the earlier chapters of the Gita by Bhagavan Sri Krishna. Many of them in many chapters. If you practice even 3 or 4 of them, we will have peace of mind. What are they? Just to recap, we have to recapitulate old shlokas which are relevant to the present context. We should not forget them. So, where did we study how to get peace of mind? First place in chapter 2, shloka number 38. There, Bhagavan Sri Krishna says to Arjuna, Sukha dukkhe same kritva labha alabhau jaya ajayau. Sukha dukkha, inevitable. Nobody has only sukha, nobody has only dukkha in life. Combination. Sometimes this is more, sometimes that is more. They come. But I have to remain unaffected. Same kritva, remaining equanimous, treating them equally. When sukha comes, happiness comes, one should not become too much elated and celebrate, because next moment things may change. When dukkha comes, one should not become too much dejected, depressed, angry, or bitter, and yell and scream. Remaining calm, sukha dukkha. Same kritva, treating them equally, remaining equanimous. Labha alabha. Labha means gain, profit. Alabha means loss. So whatever action we do, we gain something or we may lose something, or both may happen. I should remain unaffected. Jaya ajaya. Jaya means success. Sometimes you do something, we succeed. Sometimes we don't succeed. Ajaya means failure. Both may happen, some combination may happen. Some part of my work succeeds, some other part fails. So I have to remain unaffected in success and failure. This was explained earlier in this, will be explained later in the second chapter, shloka number 48. In shloka 48, Sri Krishna says, 47, 48, 2 shlokas, Bhagavan Sri Krishna is going to say, you have only some control about the work you can do. Karmani evate adhikaraha. You have no control when it comes to the fruit of your actions. Paleshu mate adhikaraha. You remember the shloka? Karmanyeva adhikaraste ma paleshu kadachana. Why is it so? I am doing the work. I work so hard and efficiently. Still, why should I not succeed? Because many other factors besides my effort come into play and affect the outcome of my work. Whether, for example, what other people do in the workplace or family, I may be the best worker. If my co-worker is not doing his work properly, that affects my work. We know all this from experience. So all these other factors, and plus what we did before, earlier karma, all of them affect the result of present karma. This will be studied in detail in the next chapter, chapter 18, shloka 14. Bhagavan is going to give a list of other factors which affect our result of our present karma. Therefore, the solution is we have to do our best quality of work that we can do, and there our part ends. Result is not in our hands. Success or failure, good or bad, I have to learn to accept it calmly, but at the same time, I must do my work efficiently in the best way I can, with the proper attitude. All this comes in shloka 47, 48. 48, second chapter, Bhagavan says, Yogastha kuru karmani Sangam Tyaktva Dhananjaya Siddhya Siddhyo Samo Bhutva Samatvam Yoga Uchate. Samatvam means equanimity. Siddhya, Siddhyo, Siddhyo. In Siddhi means success, Asiddhi means in failure. One of them happen, both will happen. Whatever we do. I should learn to remain calm, whether my work brings success or failure, or usually a combination of both. Because result is not in my hands. That is something difficult for people to accept. I am doing all this hard work, so much I put in, why should I not succeed? No, there are other factors beyond our control that affect the result of my work. My own past karma, something that I did not do 10, 15 years ago, that is affecting the failure that I did not do, failure to do some work earlier, affecting my present work. I wish I had done that then. Then I would have been more successful in my present. Like my own action can affect past action. It can affect the result of my present action, plus other factors which other people do. So we should learn to remain calm. That's one way to remain peaceful in success, failure. So far, 238, 248 we have studied. Then another way is given in Shloka number 20, chapter 5, general instruction. In general, life brings both good and bad, happiness and happiness, pain and pleasure, praise and blame. Now, whatever happens, one must remain calm because we have no control about other things. What other people think about us, what happens in the society, in the world, we have no control. How much can we control? The war is happening in Russia, Ukraine, that is affecting many families in this country. They didn't do anything. They didn't cause the war. So what can be done? That's nature of life, nature of world. So in general, Sri Krishna says in 520, na prahrishyet priyam prapya, no dvijet prapya cha apriyam. Priyam prapya na prahrishyet. Priyam means something pleasant, good happens. Na prahrishyet. I should not become too much elated. We should be happy and thankful for good things happening to us, but not become proud, arrogant, and start celebrating too much because we don't know what will happen next moment or by the evening. Aprapya na udvijet. Apriyam prapya na udvijet. Apriya means something unpleasant happens. Then I should not become too much dejected, angry, depressed. Take it calmly. Take everything in stride. 520. See how many slokas? 238, 248, 510. Many slokas are there. I mentioned a couple more. When people praise or blame us, I should remain calm. Shloka number 19, chapter number 12, describing the qualities of a devotee of God, Bhakta. From in chapter 12, which is called Bhakti Yoga, deals with Bhakti Yoga. In the slokas 13 to 19, Bhagavan described the qualities of a Bhakta. Who is a good Bhakta devotee? A person should have these qualities. Among them, remaining calm in praise and blame. Shloka 19, chapter 12. Tulya ninda stutir mauni santushto yena kenachit aniketa sthiramakti bhakti man me priyo naraha. Tulya ninda stutiri. Ninda means blame, stuti means praise. This is what other people do. Some people praise us, no matter what you do. Some people blame us, no matter what you do. And same people may do both. One person may blame me today, tomorrow he may praise, or the opposite may happen. There is nothing we can do to control what other people do and think about us. They do whatever they want. I must remain unaffected by it. I can't change people. I can't change anything in the world. World will go on as it's in its own way. I can remain in control of my own mind, my own reaction to the world. Tulya means saman, equally, remaining equanimous in praise and blame. Ninda stuti. Mauni, practicing maunam. That will come in the same sloka that we are studying. Santushto yena kenachit. By whatever is there, with that being contented. Santushti, santosha means contentment. If you are not content, then you are never peaceful. Mind is always disturbed. No matter how much money a person has, how big a property he has, whatever position he has, if he or she is not contented, then there is no peace. Very rich person can have discontent, be miserable. He has millions of dollars, but he is not happy that he doesn't have two more billions of dollars. So it's not how much a person has that makes a person content. It's the attitude. Whatever is there, earned by my own dharmic effort, with that I am going to be happy. No greed. Greed means no peace. Santushto yena kenachit. These are all disciplines we have to practice to do what? One thing, manah prasadaha. First thing in the sloka number 16. How to remain calm and peaceful under all circumstances. So many instructions have been given. I would just to mention only a few. So the second discipline of the mind, manasam tapaha, saumyatvam. Saumyatvam means gentleness. We should be gentle in our thoughts, in our speech, and in our actions. Gentleness means absence of harshness and harsh feelings, violent thoughts, impure thoughts. They all disturb the mind. That we should keep in our control. What I think, it should be in my control. No matter what other people do, what happens in the world, I should remain peaceful. That is my discipline, my effort in this life. So manah prasad, gentleness of thought and also of speech and mind. When we meet some people, we should be gentle, not haughty. Arrogance does not bring peace at all. Manah prasadaha saumyatvam. Saumyatvam here means saumyatvam saumanasyam ahu. Sukadi prasadadi karyoneya antahkaranasya vrittihi. Mukadi prasadadi karyoneya antahkarana vrittihi means it is the mental state inferred from its effects of composure, like composure of face, etc. The face must be reflect our composure, calmness of mind. When somebody comes, Swami Ranganathanji gives this instruction about saumyatvam. When somebody comes or I meet someone, I should greet that person gently, nicely, with respect. Whoever that person may be. Not with disdain or arrogance. That is saumyatvam. Thoughts must be gentle. Then third one is maunam, very important. Maunam means silence. See, silence here is mentioned as a discipline of the mind, manasam tapaha. Bhagavan did not mention it in the speech discipline, previous sloka. It's a discipline of the mind, not of speech. Simply not speaking is not maunam. Maunam means mind should be free from unnecessary thoughts. We can communicate without speaking, without verbally speaking anything. We can communicate in other ways, by sending text messages, by putting notes on the refrigerator, by sign language. We can, by facial expression, we can communicate. Still, it is not silence. The mind must be calm. So, about silence, I thought I read something interesting. See if I can find it. This is 16th sloka. Yes, here it is. Swami Ranganathanandaji's 3-volume book. Some of you know, this is called the Universal Message of Bhagavad Gita. Swami Ranganathan, 3 volumes. So this on page 225 of volume 3, speaking about maunam, silence. Swamiji says, Then comes silence, maunam or silence. It means a thoughtful situation with the mind active in thinking. Mind must be active. That is called maunam. It is not necessarily silence, but still not verbal silence. It means to speak only when there is something worthwhile to speak. Rest of the time, one can be silent. A person is silent because he or she has the great power of thinking. A thinking person speaks very little. A person who speaks too much thinks very little. The Swami is going to mention here. I have always expressed the idea that speech and thought are in inverse ratio. More thought, less speech. Less thought, more speech. And so we have to train the mind. Let us talk only when there is something worthwhile to talk. That is, silence means not simply not verbally speaking, but keeping the mind calm and free from unwanted, impure thoughts. And speaking only when necessary, when it is necessary to say something, and saying that gently, calmly, nicely, without harshness, and saying always the truth, etc. Speech disciplines. Manah prasadaha saumyatva maunam. 3. Fourth one is Atma Vinigraha. Atma Vinigraha means, as we have seen before, Atma means the self. 4 different meanings are there for the word Atma. Vinigraha means control, special control. Nicely controlling the what? Mind. Atma can mean the physical body. That came earlier in the sloka number 14, 5 disciplines on how to control the body. Atma can mean mind. Atma can mean the Jivatma, individual being. Atma can mean the Paramatma, supreme being. Any one of these. But in this context, sloka number 16, when Bhagavan says Atma Vinigraha, he means control of the mind. Very important, very difficult also to achieve. Mauna Atma Vinigraha, control of the mind. Some of the disciplines we saw before, how to control the mind. Control our anger. Sometimes we become very angry, some provocation is there. Then I should control my anger. Or sometimes greed comes, somebody has something very expensive, nice, I want to have that also. Then we have to control the mind. Whenever the mind strays away from peace, some disturbing thought comes, then we have to specially exercise control over the mind. Not that come back to normal, peaceful disposition. Constant effort, round the clock, it will happen. Unless we try, we cannot remain peaceful. It requires a lot of effort. Mana maunam atma vinigraha, control of the mind. Fifth one is bhava samshuddhi. We are discussing 5 disciplines of the mind. Manasam tapaha, austerities. Bhava samshuddhi means purity of our bhava, means emotion, attitude. Sometimes we are very angry. Sometimes we are very peaceful. Sometimes we are jealous of somebody. Sometimes you are sad, something happens. All of these are variations from the mean peaceful position. No matter which way the mind becomes disturbed, from that disturbance, we have to bring the mind back to the normal, mean, peaceful position. It's a constant, continuing effort. Bhava samshuddhi. Another meaning of bhava samshuddhi is our attitude towards other people, animals, plants, and things, and work also. Bhava means attitude. Towards God also we have bhava. We have heard about the 5 or 6 bhavas towards God. We can think of God as our father, as our mother. We can think of God as our child, apatya. We can think of God as our friend, as Arjuna did. We can think of God as our master Prabhu, myself as a servant, as Hanuman did. So all different attitudes towards God. This bhava. You should have one of these pure bhavas. Should not think of God as our enemy. Some people did that. All the demons, Rakshasa, Ravana, and Hiranyakashipu, all those people, Hiranyaksha, they thought of God as their enemy. They got into a lot of trouble. So God is not, He's our friend, closest friend. He is our father, He is our mother. Infinite compassion, love God is for us. We don't understand how deep, infinite is God's compassion towards us. You have to feel it. So God is deep. Attitude towards God must be sattvic attitude. Sattvic bhava. That is one bhava. Bhava samshuddhi. Attitude towards other people. Different people react to us, play different kinds of roles in our lives. And people are of different natures. Earlier in the Gita, Bhagavan Sri Krishna had given instructions on how to have a good attitude towards people of varying temperaments and relationships with us. Some people are very happy people, successful people, generous people, some are the opposite. But I should remain calm towards all of them. Should not hate somebody, should not become attached to somebody else. Where did we study that one? Chapter 5, shloka number 20. Shloka number 18, not 820, 18. There, Bhagavan Sri Krishna says, Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Gavi Hastini Shuni Chaiva Svapakecha Panditaha Samadarshinaha. Samadarshitvam came there. Samadarshitvam means same-sightedness towards all. Supposing there is a very highly qualified, very good natured person, Vidya Vinaya Sampanna Brahmana, knower of Brahman, endowed with Vidya and Vinaya, knowledge and humility. Towards them, we should show respect and love and go down to that person and learn from that person, emulate that person. On the other extreme in society, we come across people of opposite qualities. Swapaka means a person in the lowest stratum of society, no education, no culture, and just somehow subsist eating dog's meat. Means people are there even now in any society, or don't have, it's not their fault. They're not bad people. They're not bad people. Circumstances are like that. They're born in some such poor circumstances where they have no opportunity for education. No, not only education, they don't have food to eat. They're struggling for basic needs. What can they do? So we should, towards them, we should be compassionate and loving and caring, do whatever we can. And all in between people are there, between these two extremes. Like ordinary people, like any of us, we should be gentle and nice towards them, friendly towards them. That we studied in the 12th chapter. Adveshtasra bhutanam maitra karuna evacha. Towards all beings, no dvesha, no hatred, friendliness, maitra. Karuna, compassion. So that is the attitude towards people of various degrees. And in that spectrum, animals also come there. Animals and plants, everything comes. Brahmane, Gavi, Hastini, Shuni. 3 animals are mentioned. Go means a cow. Hasti means elephant. Shuni means a dog. In all of these various kinds of animals, some are sattvic animals, like cows and elephants are sattvic. And some are rajasic animals, like dogs can be very loving and can be also very ferocious, like pit bulls. So we have to be careful, but not hate any of them. No hatred. So this equanimity towards all beings should be cultivated. That is bhava samshuddhi, purifying our attitude towards people, animals and plants. Similar instruction came in chapter 6 towards how to be equanimous towards all people who are, some of them are friendly towards us, some are, they don't like us. Different kinds of people with different relationships towards us in society or in family. Where did it come? Chapter 6, shloka number 9. Suhrit, Mitra, Ari, Udasina, Madhyastha, Dvesha Bandhushu, Sadhushvapichu, Papeshu, Samabuddhir Vishishyate. Samabuddhi means treating alike with love and compassion and respect, sometimes from a distance. Towards Suhrit. Suhrit means a friend, close friend who does good things to us without expecting anything in return for his good deeds. By nature, such people are there in our lives who always want to help us. They love us, respect us. They are called Suhrit. That's with good heart, Suhrit. Mitra. Mitra means a friend. Mitra, Udasina, in between person. Udasina means uncommitted person. They are neither good nor bad towards us. They are neither friendly nor inimical. So that's such people. Majority people are like that one, neutral people. But just the dveshya. Dveshya means some people who hate us. Towards them also, we should not have hatred in return, but from a distance, pray for them. And it's hard to love them. Jesus Christ says, love the enemies, he says. It is the highest ideal. But sometimes some people make it difficult for us to love them. Then I should do, at least we should not have hatred towards them. No hatred at all. Adveshtasvara bhutanam. But from a distance, we should stay away from them. Look, I can't get too close to you. My relationship is not going to work. You stay there, I stay here. From here, I pray for you, I respect you, but I'm not getting close to you. Like that one. Staying away from the wild elephant. You remember that Sri Ramakrishna's parable, like that one. Bandhu sadhu shapicha papesha. Sadhu means good person, sadhu, sattvic people who are striving to achieve God realization. They are sadhus. Papesha means people are sinful people are there. People do committing a lot of sins that we know why they commit sins. Arjuna asked the question why people commit sins. You remember in the 3rd chapter. So that's a different topic. People commit sins. And towards those sinful people also, we have to be compassionate, no hatred. So all these are bhava samshuddhi, attitude towards people of various dispositions, qualities, and relationships towards us, towards good and bad, in success and failure, in happiness and happiness, in praise or blame. One should remain, attitude must be pure and calm towards God, towards other being, towards nature, towards animal, compassion. Bhava samshuddhi is a big topic. Our attitude towards work also, very important. Work must be seen as an opportunity to serve the Lord. Whatever you do, offer it to me. Sri Krishna says in many places in the Gita, whatever work I do should be done with great joy, with love and gratitude, and offering everything as my humble offering to God. Why? Because He does not need our work. I offer everything as my expression of love and to become unselfish, to give up attachment. That attitude towards work, attitude towards success and failure, we have seen before, equanimity. All this comes under the heading of bhava samshuddhi. See how much is embedded in that one phrase, one term, bhava samshuddhi. Iti etat tapo manasamuchyate. So that is 3 kinds of tapas. Shariram tapaha, verse number 14. Vamayam tapaha, speech, verse 15. And 16, manasam tapaha, disciplines of the austerities with the mind. Very important 3 shlokas. Very important part of this chapter 17. 3 shlokas, 14, 15, 16. 15 instructions are there. At least some from each group we have to do. Then we move on to the next topic. In the next 3 shlokas, 17, 18, and 19, Bhagavan is going to describe 3 kinds of tapas. Austerities, not body, mind, and speech. That is done. Here, sattvic, rajasic, and tamasic tapas. Tapas means any activity, austerity done to improve our quality of our mind, to become free from attachment, anger, greed, etc. Austerity. That can be of 3 types, sattvic, rajasic, tamasic. Let us see them in shloka number 17, 18, 19. Shloka number 17. Shraddhaya paraya taptam tapastatrividam narai apala kankshibir yuktai satvikam parichakshate. Satvikam tapah. Satvik austerity. How it is done? Shraddhaya paraya taptam. Taptam means austerity done, tapas done. Any austerity done with supreme faith, paraya shraddhaya, not half-hearted faith, with total faith, earnestness, and commitment that this is the best thing for me to be doing at this time. That firm conviction must be there. Half-heartedly, maybe this will be helpful, may not be helpful, not like that. With total shraddha, anything we do must be done. So what is shraddha then? This whole topic is Shraddha Trayavibhaga Yoga. So let us go back and understand what is Shraddha. We are talking about Shraddha all the time in 14th chapter and 17th chapter. What does it mean? There is a very fine definition of the word Shraddha in Viveka Chudamani. That is sloka number 25. There Shankaracharya describes what Shraddha is. Shraddha means hard to translate that accurately into English. We say faith, but does not completely convey the full meaning of the word Shraddha in English. So what is Shraddha then? So Shankara describes like this. Shastrasya Guruvakyasya Satyabuddhyavadharanam. Look at number 25. Some of you studied that one. Shastrasya Guruvakyasya Satyabuddhyavadharanam sa shraddha kathita sadbihi yaya vastu upalabhyate. Vastu means substance. Substance means God is a substance. World is unreal, insubstantial. Only God is real substance. Vastu. Vastu upalabhyate, by which God is attained. If you want to reach God, God realization or Brahmajnana or pure devotion, then this discipline of Shraddha is necessary. Yaya, by which? Shraddha is that by which Vastupalabhyate, God is reached. Ultimate goal is reached. So what is that discipline that is very necessary to reach God, to reach self-knowledge or devotion? It is explained here. Shastrasya Guruvakyasa Satya Buddhihi iti. Shastra means not all the scriptures. Some of the scriptures like Smriti scriptures we have seen before, they contain certain things which are subject to some limitations. At a certain time in a certain place they were true, but with change in time and place they become irrelevant. Like this one. These are called Yuga Dharma. We saw that before. But Upanishads, they are called Shruti. They contain eternal truths of universal relevance. What Upanishad says never goes out of fashion. It's true in all the countries, in all places, at all times, in all centuries. They never go out of fashion. Universal relevance, eternal relevance. That is the Shastra Vakya. That depicts the truth. Shastrasya Satya Buddhihi. What Upanishad says is the truth. This conviction must be developed. Shastra Pramana. Last sloka of the previous chapter, chapter 16, last sloka we studied, sloka number 24. There Bhagavan had said, in deciding what to do and what not to do, what to refrain from doing, may Shastra be your guideline, provide the standard basis. So that's Shastra. What Shastra says is the truth. That conviction we must have. We should not say, oh, this Upanishads, nobody, there is no name, who wrote it so many centuries ago, millennia ago, whether it is true now or not, whether it was true then or not, nobody knows, there is no proof. How to believe? Like this we can have an attitude towards Shastra. No, that is not the right attitude, because innumerable number of saints and Mahatmas of all cultures and faiths have verified the truth about God in different ways, all of them independently, not communicating with each other because they were separated by continents and centuries. Independently experiencing the truth of God, they have said in their own different ways of expression, language, they have said, God is there. and he is the goal of our life. Summary of all the teachings. We must start as a starting hypothesis. We need a starting hypothesis to start our spiritual life. That is our starting hypothesis. Shastra Vakya, Shastra Pramana. Then, if that is not enough, Guru Vakya. Guru means enlightened teacher. Many people can give lectures on Shastras. They are scholars and they have studied, but they may not have experience. We are talking about people who have experienced God in their lives. Such people, great Mahatmas like Sri Ramakrishna and great saints of all cultures, Buddhist saints and Christian saints and other saints of other faiths, they all have experienced God, and from their experience they are saying that this is the truth. Guru Vakya. So their experience, their teaching must provide us impetus, a motivation for us to start our spiritual life. This is the starting point, Shraddha. So having a clear conviction based upon study and understanding that what the scriptures say and what the Mahatmas says, they are the truth. This conviction must be the starting point for our spiritual quest. That is Shraddha. So, Shraddhaya Paraya Taptam. Any austerity we do in our lives, maybe we do japa every morning and evening, or we worship in the temple or church or some other place of worship every week or whenever we can. All of that, study scriptures, study holy scriptures. Whatever we do in terms of tapas, spiritual practice, must be backed by this Shraddha. Paraya Shraddhaya, with supreme faith. Half-heartedly, maybe this is going to be good, maybe this will help, maybe it may help somebody else. I don't know if it helps me or not. Not with like that. Not with half-hearted understanding, commitment. Full, total conviction developed by study and understanding and reflection. Then that our tapas will be fruitful, 100% it will fruit. Tapas done half-heartedly is not very useful. It has some use, but not good. So, Shraddhaya Paraya Taptam Tapaha. Trividam, three kinds of tapas are there. What are they? Satvikam Tapaha, we are studying now. What is second quality Satvik tapas? Aphala Kangshibihi. Phala Kangsha. Phala means fruit of our action. I do some action and I want some result of that one. That is Phala Kangsha, desire for fruit of action. But as we have seen before, when you do any action, we should not expect the fruit of action to come to me. May good happen, I have done this work, I'm offering to God as my seva, service, humble offering, or to society, may good happen. I'm not expecting any glory or fame or reward for me for this work. I've done the work, doing the work itself is the reward. What's the reward in doing the work? Opportunity to do the work, ability to do that itself is the great reward. I'm blessed. It's a blessing to be able to do some work of any kind. So with that attitude of gratitude and love and joy, we should do all our work. Then that is called Satvik Tapas. Aphala Kangshibihi, by those who don't have expectation of selfish benefit from their work. Yuktaihi, with its attitude, Satvikam Parichakshate. So Satvik Tapas means two things are necessary. Paraya Shraddhaya Taptam, with supreme faith, conviction, this is good for me. Second thing is, without expecting any benefit, even from our tapas. We should not say, this morning I did 1 hour japa, evening I'm going to do 1 more hour japa, so I must make spiritual progress. God should appear. No, that won't happen like that. God's grace, only by God's grace, God's darshan will happen. We can reach God only by His grace. But then we have to do self-effort. That's our first step we take. Unless I take the first step towards God, then mother will be like, God is like mother waiting for the child to come and eat dinner. Dinner is ready. If the child is busy playing, doesn't want to have dinner, what can the mother do? It's not hungry, time will not come. If the child stops the play and comes home, then she is there to welcome. She comes 10 steps toward the child and takes it and cleans it up and gives her food and comfort. God will come 10 steps towards us if we take one step towards God. This is said by so many sages, not by one sage. Many sages have said this one. Similar statements based on the experience. So we should take that first step. That is our self-effort. And that has to be done with supreme faith. I'm taking this step towards God, and by God's grace, I will have His darshan, and I will experience God's presence by His grace. My effort is only 1%, 99% God's grace. But that 1% effort we have to do wholeheartedly with full faith and love and joy, with gratitude. That is sattvic tapas. Now, rajasic tapas are there. We will quickly study sloka number 18. Rajasic tapas is easy to understand. Satkaramana pujartham tapodambhena chaivayat kriyate tadiha proktam rajasam chalamadhruvam. Here Bhagavan says, tapaha dambhena. Damba means ostentation, show. Some people have a mala, japa mala, all days carrying in their hand when they are moving about. They want other people to know that I'm doing a lot of japa. I saw two people like that one. There is no need to show off. What happens is between me and God. When you pray, you have to pray in secret, in the closet, not in the public square. Lord will reward us in the open. So that dambha means show off, should not be there at all. Swami Bhuttanandaji Maharaj, he was doing tapas almost all the time, sleeping very little at all. And people thought he would be sleeping. He would cover his whole body with a sheet, and people would think, oh, he's sleeping. No, he was doing japa inside. Many people didn't know that he was doing continuous japa, even when people thought he was sleeping. So one day it happened like that. He was lying down, the whole body covered with a sheet, and some people thought, oh, the Swami is sleeping. Then I think there was Swami Brahmarupananda was there. He said, no, he's not sleeping. He is doing japa. One person went and simply slightly lifted the sheet. Swami was doing japa, crying with tears in his eyes, doing japa. So they do it in secret. They don't want people to know that I'm doing this much japa. So that is showing off his rajasic tapas. Everybody should know that I'm doing. That's not necessary. Dambhena satkaramana pujartham. Satkara means honor, expecting people to praise me. Mana, showing respect me. Oh, he's doing such so much austerity. So we should praise him like that one, great devotee, like that. We should not expect people to praise us. Totally private, within me and between me and God. Why should other people, how should I publicize that I'm doing this tapas, etc.? No. That is rajas, showing off means rajasic and attitude. Priyate tadiha proktam rajasam chalamadhruvam. This kind of tapas, rajasic tapas, is chalam means fickle. Adhruva means impermanent. For a short time, we'll do this tapas with great show and enthusiasm, everything, and then afterwards, next day, nothing. Unsteady, sporadic. No, must be steady and not known to many people. Then tamasic tapas also, it's easy to understand. Sloka number 19, we will stop there after. Mudagrahe natmano yat pidaya kriyate tapaha. Mudagrahe natmano yat pidaya kriyate tapaha. Parasyut sadhanartham va tattamasamudahritam. Tamasam tapaha. What is that one? Mudagrahena. Mudagrahena means out of foolish notion, wrong understanding. Thinking that if I do this kind of puja austerity, this will come to me. I will get a promotion in my job if I do this fasting for 3 days and doing this japa of that mantra like that one. This is not right attitude which to do tapas. Out of foolish notion, uninformed notion, Atmano pidaya, causing lot of pain to one's own body. Unnecessary torturing the body is not tapas. Does not have to be involved torturing of the body. We can sit down nicely and quietly in our mind. We should think of God, pray to God, chant God's name and do a tapas, whatever we do. You can do it nicely. We don't have to torture our body. Sitting in the outside sun in the middle of the day, in summer, and standing in water, those are not necessary. Those are damba for sure. So, Atmano pidaya ya kriyate, yat tapas kriyate. Tapas done to torture the body, torturing one's own body, or parasutsanartham va means or parasya utsadanartham, to cause trouble to other people. Evil intention for tapas. Should never even entertain such a thought. Instead of that, we should think, how can I help this person? How can I be nice to this person? Instead of that, we should never think evil of other people, helping any kind of trouble to other people. That will come back to us 20 times multiplied. And we should never do anything bad to anybody by thought, word, or deed. So that is immoral, illegal action. When vengeance and violence should be given up first step in spiritual life. Only love for others, compassion for others. But sometimes that relationship can be from a distance to be safe. That is tamasic tapas. So far, you have seen three kinds of tapas. Three kinds in two different ways. Tapas of the body, speech and mind, 14, 15, 16. And tapas which is sattvic, rajasic and tamasic, 16, 17, 18, 17, 18, 19. Three kinds of tapas, divided in two ways. Sattvic, rajasic, tamasic, and tapas of body, speech and mind. These are all important. And some of them we should, at least 15 disciplines are given, body, mind and speech. Some of each of these we have to definitely practice in our daily life. And others will come. Once we start, it then become easy to practice others too. So we shall stop here. Now we have three kinds of dana in 2021-22. 22. They can sattvic dana, rajasic dana, tamasic dana. They are easy to understand. We'll study them next time. And the last 5 shlokas deal with Om Tat Sat. Om Tat Saditi Nirdeshaha Brahmanasti Vidasmrtaha, shloka 23 onwards. Whenever we do any action, we should say Om Tat Sat. At the end of this class, we are going to say closing prayer. Then usually I say Om Tat Sat like that one. Why we should say Om Tat Sat? What is the meaning? What is the significance of Om Tat Sat? This will be studied in the last 4 shlokas. Then the chapter will end. So let me say the closing prayer now. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramayah, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om, may all be happy. May all be free from ill health and other problems. May all realize and practice what is noble, dharmic and auspicious. May no one be subject to any kind of suffering. May there be peace in our hearts, Adhyatmika Shanti. May there be peace and harmony amongst all beings, Adi Bhautika Shanti. May there be peace in nature, Adi Daivika Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Sarvam Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. All of you stay well, and God willing, we shall see you next week. If you have some questions or comments.